let's get right into the NBA playoffs. Listen, starting in the Western Conference, Jamal Murray is playing better than anybody at the bubble right now. He's the bubble MVP if we're giving that out today. Look at his numbers. He's giving you 50, 40, 50, and that Utah Jazz series is going 7. So this last game is really going to depend on if you advance or not. I want all the Denver Nuggets fans to make sure you're paying attention, or just people in general who are fans of the NBA, pay attention to Michael Porter Jr. He's a player that everybody's talking about being very talented, but I want you to watch him on the defensive end. He does not care about defense. Anybody he's playing against can score on him. Now, Spider Mitchell and Jamal Murray, they've been going at it. But I feel like this series is going to come down to the last couple of possessions. Like, you got to get the ball out of Jamal Murray's hand at this point. He's playing like the best player you ever seen right now. So if the Utah Jazz keep playing that pick and roll with Gobert sitting back instead of going up to really almost double Jamal Murray's going to kill them. He's going to hit that three every time. So just be prepared for that. Watch that pick and roll that they run and see if Gobert is playing it back or if he's coming up. If he's playing it back, they're probably going to lose. Just off that simple fact. Like, you got to learn how to play off that screen. All the people that's watching this, basketball fans, y'all know what I'm talking about. You got to really get up on him, hedge him up. You can't play him back and now you're in no man's land when he really got one of the best shots you've probably seen in some years. Like, you see what he's been doing. Going for 50. Okay, so if you don't get up on him, he's going to beat you single-handedly. You ain't going to have to worry about it. He's been carrying them this entire series, really. So if they don't make that adjustment, and Gobert is one of the main ones that's going to have to make that adjustment, if they don't do that, they won't have to worry about it. Utah, you won't be advancing. But if they do play that well, they got a good chance. That's why this series is at 7. Another series in the West, Lakers. Shout out to the Blazers. They played hard, but Dame Lillard, first of all, he exhausted himself. I felt like just getting them to the playoffs. Then he dislocated his finger. Then he hurt his knee. Like, we knew the Blazers weren't going to win that series. There was some people that was talking like Blazers were going to win that series. I'm never thinking that the Blazers were going to beat the Lakers. LeBron's not going to lose in the first round, so we got a difference of opinion on that. But I was happy to see Melo playing well, showing you that he deserves to be in the league, because once the higher-ups or the powers that be say that you can't play or they don't feel like you should be in the league and they're just going to keep you out, now he's showing you that he deserves to be in the league, which you should have known that anyway. All you had to do was really look at his workouts when he was at Lifetime Fitness. So all those off-court workouts that he's been doing, off the NBA court workouts that he's been doing, like, you see him out there balling against all the players that's in the league while he wasn't in the league. It's like, come on, man, he should have been on a team. So I'm happy to see that Melo ended up playing well, but we weren't expecting the Blazers to win that series. At least I wasn't. So, LeBron, you breaking records for assists, and if Anthony Davis keep playing like he playing, you ain't gonna have to worry about it no way. They're going straight to the Western Conference Finals. So shout out to the Lakers. Everybody that's Lakers fans, I know y'all know. Like I said on the last podcast, there's two different kinds of Lakers fans. You got Lakers fans that was there before LeBron, and you got Lakers fans that's there now that LeBron is on the team. So I know either way, whichever fan you are, you're happy, because that's the last time y'all been in the playoffs since like 2012, I think it was. So it's been a long time, Lakers. Like, just gotta keep it real with that. It's been a long time. So I know y'all happy to advance and move yourselves into whoever wins against Houston and the OKC Thunder, because Houston is playing games, and Thunder with Chris Paul, outside of what he did in Game 6, because in the second half of Game 6, Chris Paul just turned it on. Like, I'm not going to let our team lose. Westbrook came back for a second game, turnover late in the game. I said this when they first got Russell Westbrook. And Marathon listeners, y'all know this already. It's going to come down to, is Westbrook going to know that he got to get that ball to Harden? I said that so many times. Here we are again. We're right here. End of the game, situation where Harden needs to get the basketball, because this is Harden's team. Is Westbrook going to understand that this is Harden's team? I don't know. I said that when he first got on the team. He going too fast, turn the ball over, trying to throw it to Covington, who was having a good game. But James Harden has to have that ball late in the game. He's got to have it. I understand they're friends since they were 10. That's fine. But Russell Westbrook got to understand this is James Harden team. At the end of that game, Harden needs to have the basketball. Point blank, period. There's no extras, no explanations about it. Give the ball to Harden. He's the best player on that team. Russell Westbrook, high energy, great player. He's probably going to go down as I got him as one of the best players ever to not be able to shoot in NBA history. He's going to go down as that kind of player. But listen, give the ball to James Harden. Harden he's the one for that team. All right? And if they lose, because this game to me, Game 7, this is the biggest game for anybody in the front office and the head coach. To me, D'Antoni, y'all losing the first round, goodbye. You ain't going to have to worry about it. We know you ain't coming back. In my opinion, the GM, Daryl Morey, he can go too. And you can just start new, just go with James Harden, go with Russell Westbrook, build around them. Because if you really look at it, bro, if they lose in the first round of OKC, did it really work? Like, I don't think it worked. It's time to go into a different direction. Like, I don't think it really worked. But if they win, obviously, then they'll move on. But that Game 7, once you watch this, and then you find out who wins this game, by the time I give you the next podcast, you'll know, like, either D'Antoni's going to be coaching for the Rockets, or he's going to be at home getting ready to take another coaching job, possibly from the Pacers, because Nate McMillan got fired from the Pacers, which is going to be kind of crazy, because it's like, D'Antoni, you are a great coach, but damn, you already got a job, like, just that fast? Like, so, Houston, to me, man, they don't have the shooters, first of all. They're doing small ball. They don't have any other tall players because they let them all go, traded them. But I feel like you need to surround yourself with shooters if you're going to do that. Like legit shooters. To me, they don't have the legit shooters. PJ Tucker, not a legit shooter. Covington, not a legit shooter. Eric Gordon, he's a good player. Not necessarily a legit shooter. He's somebody that you can keep on that team if you want to go forward. But if they lose in that first round, there's nobody expecting that. There's some people coming into this season that's thinking Rockets got a chance to go to the finals. Like, really be in the Western Conference Finals, playing against either the Clippers or the Lakers. Nobody's saying OKC was going to do that. First of all, Chris Paul was sent there, in my opinion, to die. Like, he was shipped out, traded for Russell Westbrook. They weren't expecting OKC to be where they are. Now look, Game 7 is approaching. And I'm telling you, his job is on the line. And the last person that's going to be leaving that building is James Harden. If you want to look up the contract situation for Russell Westbrook, you can, but trying to get him traded, it's probably going to be tough when you look at that contract. A sorry team might do it like the Hornets. Mitch Kupchak's been making some bad decisions anyway, but I don't really see you trading and getting the right value that you really want for Westbrook. Especially with that contract. Like, really look that contract up. It's crazy. And then that last series is the Clippers versus Dallas, which is over now. Dallas, all I got to say for y'all is come back with a better... Well, first of all, let me start with the Clippers. Clippers, Paul George, he played better, but that ball got to go to Kawhi. At the end of the game, get the ball to Kawhi. Just be smart about it. Don't think that it should go to anybody else. I don't care how many players they got on that team. I know they got a lot of depth. You got Lou Williams coming off the bench, Montrezl Harrell, like I said, Paul George. They've been playing Reggie Jackson. There's a lot of players on that team. Even Marcus Morris, he's been playing well. But listen, get the ball to Kawhi. He's averaging like 33 points in this series. The Kawhi at 33. He's the person that needs to get the ball in that series. Clippers, don't overthink yourself because you got good players. Get the ball to Kawhi. You'll be fine. Dallas, come back next year with a better roster. Mavs fans, you got to come back next year with a better roster. That's all there is to it. If you're a GM of that team and you're not prepared for Porzingis to be hurt next year, I don't think you're doing a good job. He gets hurt every single year. Like, you should go into it not saying, oh, we got Porzingis now, healthy year. No, you got Porzingis, but it's a chance that he might get hurt. Have a backup plan. Have somebody else on that roster around Luka Doncic because he's a great player. Luka Doncic is one of the best players in the league. Put the team on his back. They was trying to beat him up. It got to his mentals a little bit. You know, he's a younger player. You know, he's going to have to work through that going forward in the playoffs. But if they want to compete in the West at any time, soon or in the future, you're going to have to get some better players around Luka Doncic. Tim Hardaway Jr., not going to be enough. Steph Curry, I'm happy he got his money. not going to be enough. Got to get some other players around him. Dorian Finney-Smith, a lot of y'all might not know him, but got to get some better players around Luka Doncic, man. If you want to go forward. But if you're a GM with that wrong mindset and you're thinking, oh, we got Porzingis now, we can build, nah. You need to have somebody else outside of Porzingis, because when they needed him the most, he's on the sideline. That's just being real. Moving on to the Eastern Conference. Bucks, you already lost one game. And I said this too coming into it, bro. The Bucks, in my opinion, they're a good team, but the Bucks, as well as the Bucks as well as Toronto Raptors, they didn't really get a good first round to warm up, because you're playing against Brooklyn Nets Raptors. That's not really a warm up. They don't have Kyrie, they don't have Durant. It's like, what are you doing? Like, that's not really a team that's going to prepare you for when you got to play the Celtics in the next round, which is why they got beat by 20. And Raptors are a good team, so a lot of people have this series going pretty far. I think the Celtics can get them in 6. Raptors are a good team, but one thing people probably don't know about Raptors is they always lose to the Celtics. Celtics are the team that always beat them. For whatever reason, like, I know Nick Nurse, he got Coach of the Year, shout out to him, but I know every time he looks across and he sees Brad Stevens and he sees Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown and Kemba, he like, this that team, man, this is the one. We always losing to them. And it happened in game 1. They lost by about 20. Like, it got ugly quick. They tried to make a comeback late, but it was, by that time, it was done. But the Bucks, they played Orlando in the first round. That's not really it's not really a team that's going to get you prepared, because you're playing Heat next. And what happened? Jimmy Butler told y'all he there to win. He got the young boys buying in, Tyler Hero, Duncan Robinson, all right? He got those young boys buying in. And he's a tough player, the two-way player. So now you look up, and Bucks, who was a favorite, they had the best record in the league, even though it's people that just don't believe in them because it's Milwaukee Bucks. My personal opinion, I'm not believing in them because you got Eric Bledsoe in the playoffs, who you really can't rely on. Some of those other guys you can't rely on, Brooks Lopez in the playoffs. And what happened in game 1, Eric Bledsoe was a late scratch, so he wasn't even available. You end up losing that game. And they missed all their free throws. Like, how you expect somebody to take y'all serious, Bucks, when you're missing all the free throws? Like, let's be real about that. Ain't nobody taking you serious when you're missing all those free throws. Giannis, great regular season player, but when these playoffs hit, he got to get right. And if they go down 2-0, the narrative really going to switch then. Now we're going to start talking about all the people around you, Chris Middleton, what you doing. You know what I'm saying? Like, we're going to start getting on the other players now, including Giannis. Like, oh yeah, he's a great regular season player. Shout out to him because he got Defensive Player of the Year. Could have went to Ben Simmons. Gave it to Giannis. And then he's also going to get MVP. All great, but that's all regular season stuff and all stuff that Jimmy Butler does not care about. So be extremely clear. Jimmy Butler does not care about what awards Giannis has. And he was looking like the best player on the floor the other night. Like, with Giannis on that floor, Jimmy Butler was looking like the best player. That's what I'm saying. So I'm not going to overreact after one game, but I'm just letting you know, Bucks and Raptors, they didn't really even get a chance to warm up with those first teams they played. Like, Orlando and Brooklyn Nets, you're not ready. Like, this is really the first round for them, because you're not going to be ready when you're playing those teams. I'm sorry. And you saw what happened. Raptors and Bucks, they both lost. Just for everybody, Marathon listeners, I want y'all to know NFL is right around the corner. So get yourself prepared. Fantasy is here. But did y'all see the news about, I'm sure you heard it, Leonard Fournette being cut for the Jaguars? This is what I always say, man. First of all, that position is just not valued. When you play running back, it's not going to be valued. I felt like Jaguars wanted to do this for a long time. The timing of when they do these things, though, is significant. You got to really look at the time that they do it. You this close to the season, and you decide to cut that man. And then, when you come out with your statement, or you talk to the coach, Doug Marrone, he's like, we couldn't get anything for him. We tried to trade him, couldn't get anything for him. Bro, Leonard Fournette is a good running back. It's a lot of teams that would like to get Leonard Fournette. I understand he might be doing wild stuff off the field. Who knows? He might be fighting people in the locker room. Who knows? These are all allegations and things that we don't have proof of, right? Yes, he's had some times where in the locker room, he probably had some mixed feelings with the team, like, yo, what the hell y'all doing? But that happens when you're sorry. Like, Jaguars are not a good team. I don't care how many times Gardner Minshew goes out there, super mustache, shout out to him. He doing his thing. They trying to act like they ain't tanking. And I don't want to say that they're tanking, but they might just be tanking. Like, Trevor Lawrence is waiting. Somebody's going to get him. He's going very, very high. I got him as the number 1 pick. Jaguar, you telling me y'all going to say, nah, we don't want Trevor Lawrence, we're going to keep Gardner Minshew? You're probably not going to do that. Now, going into the season, you got to see what they're going to do, but I don't expect them to make any noise. Nobody's thinking Jaguars going to make any noise. You had Ramsey. Now he's on the Rams. You had Yannick Ngakoue. That's the DN. If y'all look up what happened with him, that was crazy. It's like, y'all waited again to trade him to the Vikings, offered him $19 million. He took $7 million less to play for the Vikings. That lets you know he didn't want to be on that team. But he came into the season last year not wanting to be on that team. So you got a lot of players on that team that don't want to be there. Like, so they getting rid of him, but Jaguars, front office, you waiting too late. If you get rid of him before like March, now you can get some better things back for him. You can't be waiting until September to get rid of this man. Like, is nobody checking the deadlines around there in the front office? We got to get people looking at the deadlines. Like, these players are obviously unhappy. They don't want to be on this team. Get rid of them while you can. Don't be waiting till the last minute. It's crazy. So that's enough Jaguars talk, but I just wanted y'all to know that happened with Leonard Fournette. That position is not valued. He'll be on another position. I mean, he'll be on another team. Look out for him. He might end up in New England because, you know, Belichick will find you and say, hey, you can do what you want to do. You can come over here. You're either going to do it or not. Like, we're going to keep you or get ready, depending on if you can buy into the Patriot way in the first place. But Leonard Fournette, he understands that value. He understands that value. Belichick knows what he can do. So if he wants him and he ends up in New England, don't be shaking your head, because it was your own fault, Jaguars. You waited too late. Talking about you couldn't get nothing for him. Don't be childish.